The book of Ruth starts by sharing the difficult moment that Naomi faced. I believe that just like Naomi, we all go through hard times. And the question is, how should we respond when faced with difficult moments? The first lesson for us today is that in difficult moments, we need to be outward looking. Being outward looking has to do with focusing on the needs of others rather than on your own challenges. During difficult moments, it is so natural to have a sense of self-pity and focus on your own struggles. It is, however, important to look beyond our challenges and see the struggles that other people around us may be experiencing. That is exactly what Naomi did. Yes, she had lost her husband. She had lost her 2 sons. But when it was time to go back home, she was not just thinking about her own needs and having, a pity party kind of thing. No, she also thought about the needs of her daughters-in-law. She doesn't even try to coerce them to go with her to Bethlehem. In chapter 1 and verse 8 and 9 of the book of Ruth, this is what Naomi tells the daughters-in-law. Go back, each of you, to your mother's home. May the Lord show kindness to you as you have shown to your dad and to me. May the Lord grant that each of you will find rest in the home of another husband. Even in the midst of crippling grief, Naomi was outward looking, and she focused on the needs of those around her. And dear ones, as difficult as it may sound, we should also endeavor to be outward looking and focus on others, even in the midst of our own personal challenges. Well, the second lesson is that in our difficult situations, we need to be inward looking. Being inward looking here means examining our own lives and focusing on the blessings we have, the blessings that God has given us, rather than the challenges, the struggles, the difficulties we may be going through. Being inward looking here has everything to do with having a sense of introspection and realizing that things could have been worse than they really are, and being thankful to God for those things that are okay. Right from the start of the story, everything seems to go wrong in Naomi's life. There is famine in the land, and the family moves to a neighboring country. She then loses her husband, and even before she can get over it, her 2 sons die, leaving her with 2, daughters-in-law. Sad and disappointed. She feels she is returning to her homeland in a way empty-handed. It's no wonder she got back to Bethlehem, and in chapter 1, verse 20 and 21, this is what she says. Don't call me Naomi, she told them. Call me Mara, because the Almighty has made my life very bitter. I went away full, but the Lord has brought me back empty. Why call me Naomi? The Lord has afflicted me. The Almighty has brought misfortune upon me. She feels like God has let her down. It was easy for her to add up her problems than it was to count her blessings. Even after Ruth committed to staying with her, she still feels empty. Yes, Naomi had lost her husband. Yes, she had lost her sons. Yes, the future was uncertain and bleak. Yes, she felt empty. But looking at things a little bit closely, you will realize that when she thought she had nothing completely, she still had her daughter-in-law Ruth. And you know what? Ruth worked so hard to provide for Naomi. Ruth later got married and gave Naomi, a grandchild who became like her own son. That even the women of Bethlehem recognized Ruth's value. And dear ones, like Naomi, many of us in our agony overlook what we have. Many of us in our troubles, in our hard times, our difficult moments, exaggerate our situations and overlook the blessings we have. Friends, we need to be thankful. We need to look at the blessings we have sometimes. In the midst of our challenges, we need to look at the blessings that we have. Well, the last lesson is that in our difficult times, we need to be upward looking. Being upward looking has to do with looking beyond our circumstances and knowing that God is in control and He is still at work even when things are negative. Naomi by no means had an easy time. In a foreign land, she loses all that mattered to her. But the lovely thing is that as she journeys back home, God is with her. The lovely thing is that as she goes back, God is working behind the scenes, accomplishing His purposes in her life, even without her knowing. Yes, God is in control and at work, even in Naomi's negative situations. And God is in total control, and He somehow, somewhat causes Ruth not to go back to her people, but to accompany Naomi back to Bethlehem. Because God is in control, He somehow, somewhat causes Ruth to work hard and provide for her elderly mother-in-law. Because God is in control, He somehow, somewhat leads Ruth to work in the grain field of Boaz. Because God is in control, He somehow, somewhat causes Boaz to have a liking for Ruth and ultimately marry Ruth. My. God is in total control and He's at work in Naomi's life, despite the challenges. An upward look will help you realize that, yes, I'm struggling now, but the divine power is at work in my circumstances to lead me to my destiny. How I pray that God would somehow, somewhat continually reassure you that He's in control of your situation and that He's at work behind the scenes, working for your good to the honor and glory of His name.